Make a basil pesto. I think we really call it classic. We're gonna kind of like New Mexico this a little bit. Instead of pinon, we're going to add toasted pepitas actually. And of course we have a fresh basil. We have got some fresh garlic here, salt and pepper. Kind of like with a little bit of a twist. One of the biggest things is instead of pinon, we're gonna use pumpkin seeds. We're gonna toast those up. And instead of adding straight garlic, we're actually gonna toast our garlic in the paper still, which actually kind of helps out with mellowing the flavor a little bit and doesn't have such a sharp flavor to the pesto. Yeah, and it'll be really good. Okay. So first we're gonna start off with about 3 tablespoons of the pumpkin seeds in the pan. And I'm just gonna turn this on about medium-high. And then I'm just gonna give it a stir with this spoon here. And you can tell when the pumpkin seeds are done because you can smell them, and when they start to turn like a very kind of glossy, and you get to see a little bit of browning too. So a dry pan, you know, no oil, a clean, nice dry pan, no oil, just the seeds. And make sure you're moving it around. Should take about, you know, a minute, 30 seconds on a medium to medium-high heat. So I'm just gonna pull these off and just put them on a little pan here, or a plate works too, just so that they cool a little bit. I'm just gonna split those out thin, just so they cool. And just gonna put that to the side. Now I'm gonna toast up the garlic, again, just straight in the pan. It should take another like minute and 30 seconds. You kind of want to keep them moving just so they toast up evenly, you know, they're not just stuck on one side. So I'm just using a spoon, I'm kind of just making them jump around a little bit in the pan. And I'm gonna know when these are done, when you can smell the garlic a little bit, and when the paper on the garlic is becomes a little bit browner. I'm seeing smoke from the pan, that's totally normal, totally okay. A little bit of brownage, which is awesome. And that's telling me this is very close to being done. Just a couple more seconds, and that should be good. And again, I'm gonna pull this off, put this on my pan, just to cool off. So after we're done roasting our seeds and our garlic, I'm gonna start working on the basil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of pull off the basil one sprig at a time. Pull the leaves off. And so once I got my sprigs worth of leaves off, I'm gonna take one of the bigger leaves, and I'm going to stack the rest of the leaves into that bigger leaf. I'm gonna roll up that whole thing. I'm gonna use a nice sharp knife. I'm gonna thinly slice the basil, also known as chiffonade, just like so. I'm gonna put that off to the side and work on the rest of my basil, which is about like 4 to 5 ounces. So now we're gonna open up the garlic. I like to just put that single clove on the cutting board, lay a knife over top, and kind of give it a smack. And that crushes the garlic a little bit and should open up the paper kind of nice and easily. I'm just gonna do that with the remaining garlic. So now we're gonna chop up our basil, our garlic, and our seeds. But first I'm gonna give a little head start to the garlic. I'm gonna fully smash them and then just run my knife through them once. Just kind of like a good chop. I'm gonna add all these together. Could you do this in the food processor? Totally. But I don't feel like washing a food processor. So So we're just gonna add them all together in kind of like one big pile. And then we're gonna use our knife again, and we're gonna chop it all together pretty finely. My strategy with this is I kind of like make a grid. So I'll use my knife one way, kind of going east to west, and I'll run it through a couple times, and then I'll change it and I'll go totally 90 degrees the other way, kind of north to south, and I'll run my knife through it that way. Careful you have your fingers out of the way. I'm just kind of making this kind of hand, and I'm putting it on top of my blade very lightly. I'm just gonna add all of this to a bowl. You might be saying, where's the cheese? If you want to add cheese to this, I would go about like a cup and a half of grated Parmesan, or you could leave it vegan like this too. Totally up to you. To this, I'm going to add a half a cup of olive oil. I'm just gonna season that with a couple pinches of salt and a couple pinches of pepper. I'm just gonna go ahead and give that a mix. And this is our low-tech basil pesto. Smells really good. Again, one of those sort of condiments you could add to almost anything. Get a little bit of mayo, mix this with a little bit of mayo, add to a sandwich, fantastic. Add to some garlic bread, super good. Again, just as a regular dip for veggies would be great. You can make like a creamy herb dip and add this to that, like a homemade dip, and dip all your favorite veggies in that. Again, like super versatile, super easy. You're not breaking out the big food processor. You could just do this with a knife and a cutting board and a bowl. Really freezable. This freezes really well too. Again, put it in a container, a nice airtight container. Label date it, put it in the freezer, and it's good to go. Thank you so much.